X107.5, that is Cage the Elephant. My name is Ross Mahoney, and we got a very special thing happening today. I've got a special co-host live in the studio who's taking over. He's going to pick all the music. Please welcome Mr. Mike Shinoda.
Hello.
Back in Las Vegas, man.
Yeah, back.
Welcome back. You're here to perform tonight at House of Blues. It's the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for the better part of a year now, doing this in support of your album Post Traumatic, correct?
Yeah. I mean, put out a few songs in January, and then eventually later on the album. And this is, we're a few weeks into the U.S. leg of the tour, and it has been amazing. It's just been awesome.
You've been overseas also, right?
Yeah, so basically, the album, I started, just to rewind it real quick and give you a quick history of it. After Chester passed away, I started, in the beginning I was anxious to even go into my studio, which is in my house. It's not like I'm going to some big fancy studio. It's just a little studio in my house. Started by doing some jams and just kind of getting used to being in there, and then eventually I had some songs, and the songs turned into the album. So and if you listen to it, there's the first half of it is more looking backwards. It's a very dark first half, and then as you get to the middle, it starts pointing to the future. Finished the album, put it out, and then from there, in the months that followed, the story kind of continued in real life. So the shows, in the beginning, I decided to do some shows completely by myself, and I did that in order to kind of get a sense of who I was and who I wanted to be on stage without anybody else. And I ended up adding two guys with me, new guys. One guy's name is Dan Mayo. Dan is a fantastic drummer. And then the other guy is a guy named Matt Harris, who's a keyboard, guitarist, and backup vocalist. And so that's the trio that I've been playing with. I'm playing Linkin Park songs, Fort Minor songs, and the new solo stuff as well.
When you started the process, like you said, was this just kind of a release for you to get past some of your grief, or to get some of how you were feeling out of your body?
Well, it's really just like sorting through stuff. It's not looking back on stuff. I needed to create a new version of normal,
Sure.
Because things were so upside down. So, just to use the live show as an example. I love playing music. I've always loved playing music. And I wanted to go on stage, but I knew that I had done some shows in the past with, basically Fort Minor shows, like rap shows, where it was mostly, it was me leading it, but I had a few other people on stage. And so for me to with this record that was so personal and all about, this weird journey that I was on, I wanted to make sure that I was really carrying that, because the only way to do a show that supports that is to have it feel as personal and in a sense like three-dimensional as the album,
right?
Because if you come to the show, it's the last thing I want anybody to experience is a tribute show or
right.
a sad thing. It has to be a celebration. It has to be fun, and it has to also, by the way, not be all about Chester.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just, the beginning part of this, it's the last year and a half. It's so different from where the trajectory was, because it was when the album came out, when One More Light came out for Linkin Park, you were in Vegas. We were at the show. I was in the room. We did a champagne toast, and it was going to be the next couple years of Linkin Park touring. And then, here it is a year and a half later, and this is something completely different.
Right.
And it is what it is.
Yeah. I felt like, I got dealt a hand of cards, and you have to play it. It's I could go and stay home. I could go try, and I do other things, as you know,
Sure.
I grew up drawing and painting. I thought well, maybe I'll do something, art related, and just avoid music for a little bit and see how that goes. But you can see I just think that'd be unhealthy for me. It's not, I love making music. I love doing what I do. I also process well in motion. Mm-hmm. I'm not a hide in my room and think about stuff kind of person. I like to be doing stuff. I can do, some of the stuff that I do to process is on my own.
Yeah.
It's if I'm painting, if I'm making a song, like for example, this record, 90% of it was me by myself in my studio. That's how I came up with most of the songs.
Right.
The art for the album was all created around the same time, just painting and painting and painting. And that's the way I sat and processed a lot of the stuff. And then, when it comes to what's the next step after you've got the music and you've got the art, that's when it starts. I started feeling like I needed a sense of control. I needed to build a foundation of like, this is stuff that I do, that I can do, and this is who I am. So let's put it out there that way.
And you're out touring, you're playing shows, and of course, Brad and Joe and Phoenix and
Rob.
And Rob.
Yeah.
Everybody, you have everybody's support. They're all big supporters.
Yeah, they've been awesome.
And you've been picking out music. It's funny because I got a list of music for songs that you wanted to play today. So let's play some music. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about the show tonight. This first song you'd sent us is Bishop Briggs. Tell me a little bit about what you like about Bishop.
Oh yeah, I mean it's funny because I sent the thing you guys had sent a note saying, do you want to come do a takeover, and whenever I get that note, my immediate instinct is to pick the weirdest, craziest stuff that the station will never play.
I'd play it.
But the Bishop is not that.
Right.
Bishop is obviously something that's very like her stuff has been getting a lot of attention and stuff. I think she's great.
She shaved her head, by the way.
Well, yeah, I was actually. That's funny you say that because I was one thing I like about her and her vibe is I see a lot of stuff these days that's like I feel like I see a lot of artists who just are like frowny faced, sad, like whatever, what I mean, and it's just like this depressing whatever. I don't know. I'm not feeling that. Like if you come, like I think maybe it's because of just where I'm at that like I have a lot of fun making music and playing it.
Right.
And so when I see these photos of an artist like Bishop doing her thing, like 100% committed to it. And by the way, also very creative and a very unique, like next generation kind of voice. I'm way into it. And actually the song that I picked is a funny one because it was her record has like a very, specific tone to it. Like I think it was very intentional about the aesthetic of the sonic aesthetic of the record, which is more soulful, big echoey guitars and all that
Scars.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she puts out this weird single, Baby, which is like more of an alternative electronic track.
Yeah, and the subject matter is about her being in bed with her boyfriend.
Yeah, and I thought like this is amazing, perfect. Like you are versatile. You don't have to be confined to one type of music or one kind of thing. I obviously relate to that.
Sure.
And I with Linkin Park, like we paved the way for a lot of this stuff because we got to that point where we did 2 records and we went, oh God, like if we do a 3rd record like the first 2 records, we're going to be stuck doing that.
Yeah.
And we went and did something completely different. And so then when I see other artists who find themselves in that situation and act on it, have the bravery to do it. I know what that feels like. It makes you really nervous.
Yeah,
to go way outside of the thing you're known for, especially when that thing has been successful.
And you're in a disadvantage because no matter what you do, there are people that are going to go, they changed too much. Not a fan.
Yeah, always,
or there's going to be people that say, you know what, they made the same album over and over again. I'm done with it.
Yeah. I think it's if you have the guts to step outside of the thing you're known for, in spite of the fact that thing is successful, I think that you'll learn a lot more, and I think you'll prove a certain level of artistry. It's about craftsmanship and artistry for me. At the end of the day, that you can go in and possibly master other approaches.
Sure.
I admire it. I appreciate it.
We got Mike Shinoda in the studio. He's performing tonight at the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour at the House of Blues. Still tickets available. We'll give away some tickets shortly, but we're going to play some Bishop Briggs. He wanted to hear it. He's picking the music. Bishop Briggs will be here for Holiday Havoc on December 5th at Park Theater. This is Baby. It's Bishop Briggs with Mike Shinoda on X107.5. X107.5. Bishop Briggs, Baby, picked by Mike Shinoda.
Dude.
He's in studio.
Dude, the clean version is tripping me out.
I know.
the regular version.
Yeah, I know he's crazy instead of he's effing crazy.
He's effing crazy. Like it's part of the thing that makes the song great too is the cursing in it.
Yeah,
that's too bad we can't play it.
Do yourself a favor, get the single, baby. And I know when she comes to town, she's going to play the real version.
Yeah, and it was, you mentioned earlier that she had shaved her head. I didn't know when I saw the picture of that she had done it. Apparently she had done it because she was supporting a friend who got cancer and was going through chemo. And so, like, to support her friend, she shaved her head too.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, she had these, like, the little, like, that little, what do you call those little buns on the top of your head? Like,
like the little...
that little thing she had going on was a kind of, like, signature. I felt like that's, like, an iconic thing for her in a you know, whatever way you want to look at it. But, to shave it off for this friend is, like, pretty awesome.
Really, really long hair. And because she played our show a couple years ago in May, and she had really, really long hair, but she used to put it up, like you said, in those little buns. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about this the other day. It's funny that we're talking about, like, somebody's hair. I would never be, like, this is not usually what I would focus on with an artist. Right. But the reason is it alludes to the fact that she did it in support of a friend.
Absolutely.
In that way. Like, it alludes to this thing that we were talking about all these artists that I picked. When I did it, I just picked stuff I was listening to. But when I looked at it a second later, I was like, oh, the one thing that I really appreciate about all these artists is they're so they have a signature style. Each of them has a signature style, a signature. It's more than just the music in every case, and it's something that is rewarding. Like when I listen to it and I dig in one level further, like, who is this human being? It is rewarding. Like, I get stuff back.
Well, that's the thing. We want to play this next artist here, Hobo Johnson, and you have a pretty cool connection to him because he's like, he's something that you got excited when I said we were going to play it next.
Oh, I love Hobo Johnson.
I went to the show. He played at the Hard Rock, played the small room at the Hard Rock, and it was packed, jam-packed. And I don't know a lot about him, and I went to the show, and I had a great time. I wasn't familiar with the songs, but he was speaking. It was poetry, and he was like screaming, and people were screaming back, and it was just a moment to like.
People know. Like, I saw him play at this little 500-seater in L.A. kind of recently, and they know every word, and there's very little repetition in his songs. And which so knowing every word is kind of amazing. It's like memorizing a movie. Like he's so, in spite of the fact that it's really more poetry driven and it's less commercial, there's something so endearing. Like, I feel like it's so honest.
Sure.
And I love that about his stuff.
Well, let's experience it. This is Romeo and Juliet from Hobo Johnson. Mike Shinoda's in the house. He's hanging out. He's picking all the songs. If you don't like it, you got to blame him. He's performing tonight at the House of Blues. Hobo Johnson on X107.5. I wouldn't love me neither. X107.5, that is Grandson Despicable. We're hanging out in the studio with Mike Shinoda. He's performing tonight the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour at the House of Blues. Mike, you're on at 9 tonight?
I am.
All right.
Yes, and we have some surprises for you guys. It's going to be a big night, so get your butt over there.
And you also brought some tickets with you for us to give away. So
yes,
we'll do some tickets. Let's pick 5 random numbers, and then we'll take those callers, and those people will be winners to the show tonight. You got to be able to go to the show tonight, though. You can't just call in because you want to talk to Mike. You got to be willing to go to the show tonight. Let's pick like between 1 and 25 numbers.
1 and 25. Okay, well, we'll do.
I'll write it down.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
3,
6,
12. You said it's 25.
We can do 5.
Oh,
up to whatever. If you pick 150, I'm going to be here for an hour answering phones.
No, we'll do 15 and 20.
Okay, 15 and 20. All right, callers 3, 6, 12, 15, and 20 right now, 702-791-1075. You got to go to the show tonight at House of Blues. Grandson, you're a big fan. He's on your record. Tell me about him.
I was funny because when I was making Post Traumatic, the album, he was I caught his music on a playlist, and I just loved it. And I followed him on Instagram. And he immediately messaged me back. I was like, "Hey, dude, this is so cool. You following me?" And it turns out we live not too far away from each other. So I was basically like, "Do you want to catch lunch or something?" And he's like, "Yes." So
He's like, Mike Shinoda is a grandkid.
It was so funny. Yeah, no, he was like tripping out. Even when we were eating, like he was like tripping out and like he was saying weird things. And I was like, is that true? And he's like, no, it's actually not. I'm just really nervous. And he's since gotten over that. He's a great guy and a very inspired and inspiring artist. That song is cool. I actually love the whole, all the stuff he's put out so far. Yeah. The EP is incredible. He's working on more now. But go check out more of his stuff. Like Blood Water is the big one that people, if you know Grandson, you know Blood Water. I wanted to play a different song just to throw something else out there.
Well, we're playing both. He's playing our show on December 5th over with 30 Seconds to Mars and Bishop Briggs and the Crystal Method and Robert DeLong. So that's going to be a great show. And for anybody that has doubts, you're getting the endorsement of Mike Shinoda today on Grandson and Bishop Briggs. So get those tickets and come out to the show. And come out to the show tonight. Mike, we're going to get you out of here, man. I know you got to get back and sound check and stuff like that. But thank you so much for coming in today and being a part of this. And just being, there for the fans who obviously are grieving through this whole process. And you've been great. You've been allowing fans to talk to you about things. And look, I mean, I'm sure you're tired of talking about everything, but you're doing these shows and it's a different process now. This is
I mean, look, it's like I know that when people come to the show, there's all the entire spectrum of emotions that they come in with, that they feel while they're there. I think I said before, like during my show, I play Linkin Park stuff, Fort Minor stuff, and the new solo stuff. And I play longer sets than I would have played with Linkin Park. I play the sets, change night to night. It's there's a lot more spontaneity and a lot of playing around with it. And it's funny that the part of it, I should say, one of the things that's kind of ironic is that the current single that you guys have been supporting is called "Make It Up As I Go" with K-Flay, and "Make It Up As I Go" is like such a important, like that philosophically, it's like the core of the record. Like it's been for me to be able to like kind of just take this thing by the reins and find that spontaneity and not knowing where things head, but just doing it anyway.
Right.
Is not something I don't do that naturally so much. And it's not something that I've done a lot in my career with Linkin Park. So to do it now, just as by way of example, like one of the things I've got to leave here and go do is a VIP experience with fans. I've done meet and greets with the fans since the very beginning, and I get together with them and I do basically a mural on their little like 12-inch record sleeves.
That's awesome.
And so there's all these little, it's a grid, and I draw on the whole thing in black, and then they color it in and finish the art. And we do that together. And there's no plan before I start it. There's no plan for what it's going to be. We just kind of create it together, and then they get to go home with the stuff.
That's amazing.
And I spend an hour, half hour, 45 minutes with them.
You got to get over there and do that. You sent me a piece of art. And it just said, "Hey, thanks for the support," and I will cherish that for the rest of my life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, I mean, all of these little. Like, I feel like really grateful to be able to do what I do, and for all of the support of people like you and people like these fans who have literally kept me going this year, and it's been incredible. So, thanks.
Well, we're gonna give away these tickets, and I'm gonna play your single right now. This is Mike Shinoda with K-Flay. Get the tickets tonight over at the House of Blues, the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour. Again, thank you so much, Mike. For coming in. This is Make It Up As I Go on X107.5.